Good morning and welcome. Happy Friday, everybody. It is June 28th, 2024, the last Friday in June. Crazy. June is almost over. I'm telling you, the end of the year is going to just fly by. And I'm excited for it because what are we doing here each and every day? Getting 1% better, right? Getting 1% better daily. Kaizen. That's the goal. And as long as you put one foot in front of the other, you're putting yourself in the environment, right, in order to soak up the information that can bolster your knowledge base. That knowledge base really update your mindset, and your mindset is the lens through which you perceive opportunity. So this world around us is, boundless with the opportunities that it has. But do you have the mindset set up to perceive those things? We're making sure that we do, and that we continue to update that mindset each and every day by being here, right, for the pre-market prep session, as well as involved in all of the different circles and groups that are under the Adam Holland Educates letterhead, right? We got Kaizen that happened last week. We got AIM kicking off here. Rounding that out, that registration this week, and then kicking it into high gear next week. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the future, and I'm excited for what this next 6 months has to offer, because there's no more opportunity that's ever existed in the world right now in terms of you having the tools to do anything you want to do as a normal person, right? Never, ever have I just been able to go and make an animated movie, or, just create a website from scratch, or, kind of set up automated video newsletters that just go out automatically, or like there's so many different things that you would have had to go through years of school to do, right? Thousands of hours put in order to perfect, and you can do it immediately. There's no other time in history that you've been able to do that. So if that's not inspiring, I don't know what the heck is. And that's what's got me up each and every morning, early in the morning, getting after my goals, continuing to learn, continuing to grow, because like I must have been put here at this specific time for a reason, right? So I'm not gonna let that reason fall to the wayside. I'm gonna grind, and that's what we're here to do here this morning. So 31's in the chat, whether you're watching live or via replay. And let's dive into closing the gap between where we are and where we want to be. We've had a nice week this week, right? Been a great week. Looking to continue that and finish strong. We had ANET come through, pay us. Palo Alto Networks come through, pay us, right? Apple in position should pay us here this morning. SPY in position should pay us here this morning. Amazon continuing the pay train, right? They announced that they're kind of essentially opening up a Temu-like space within Amazon to buy discounted goods directly from China. That news came on the back of Amazon's beautiful chart setup. It's not luck, right? We don't happen to continue each and every stock that we're in, right? A lot of times news comes out that's positive news. It's not luck, right? They have people that can read the charts. We read the charts. Whenever there's a beautiful setup, they love to drop news as that setup is happening in order to supercharge the stock price even more. It's like clockwork, right? So if you want to get lucky with stocks and where you're invested and where you're trading, learn how to read charts, and you can create your own luck. And it's really an amazing thing. Like, it's already great to be able to read them and see when stocks are going to take off, but the fact you get that extra boost because there you're aligning your goals with that of big money. That's the objector, like the objective of life. Align your goals with the people with deep pockets and position yourself in between them and their goals. They're going to carry you right to them. And that's what we do, here within the market, as well as with the AI acumen that we're continuing to hone, within Kaizen and within AIM. Now, let's dive into what we got going on here today. Make sure you drop your ones in the chat, whether you're watching live or via replay. Set your intention for this morning. Otherwise, how the heck are you going to replicate the success that we'll find today in markets? Inflation news, that's our top. When the U.S. Department of Commerce releases its personal income and outlays report for May, most eyes will be trained on the inflation data. Specifically, the core personal consumption expenditures index will provide further evidence on whether the lack of progress in lowering inflation earlier in the first quarter of the year was a bump in the road or a worrying trend. In April, disinflation appeared to resume, but 1 month does not make a trend. By the numbers, core PCE is expected to tick up 0.1% month over month in May, according to the consensus by economists, slowing from the 0.2% increase in April. On a year-over-year basis, that would come to a 2.6% rise compared with the 2.8% increase in the prior month. The Federal Reserve prefers to focus on core PCE, which excludes the volatile food and energy sectors because it better reflects underlying inflation trends than the consumer price index. CPI measures the price changes on a fixed basket of goods and services, while PCE measures what consumers are actually spending, reflecting changes in behavior like substituting cheaper products when inflation rises. Now, if the actual numbers bear out, that could give Fed policymakers increased confidence that inflation is heading sustainably toward the central bank's 2% goal. When they're confident in the path of inflation, then they'll consider making their first interest rate cut in the cycle, but they won't rush to judgment. While several Fed officials insist they'll need several more months of data to attain that confidence, see how Wall Street breakfast subscribers forecast rate cuts playing out this year. Don't really care too much about what they have to say. Speaking of inflation, the topic was a big one at the presidential debate last night, serving as a central theme and barometer of the economy. Tariffs were also discussed, as well as the impacts that the national debt, immigration, and tax legislation might have in relation to prices. In fact, that's how the showdown kicked off, with moderators Jake Tapper and Dana Bash flagging the economy as the issue that voters consistently say is their top concern. Always, right? We're humans. We're concerned with what most directly impacts us, right? Which is exactly why you want to be putting your money to work for your markets and learning how to leverage AI. Those are the two things that you want to be doing, like bar none, right? Bar none, in order to continue to put food on the table during this time, because it doesn't really matter who's in office, right? They can't control a lot of this stuff that's happening, right? A president can't go in and lower prices. There's only so many things that you could do. Like that's just the cycle of how things goes. That's like, that's like being like, oh, like we had winter again. Thanks, Biden, or we had summer. Thanks, Trump. It's like we go through cycles no matter who the president is, right? We go through these cycles of boom and then bust and then boom and then bust. It's just how the world works. It's just, people like to grab something and position it in order to further their narrative. So understand that this happens no matter what. Nobody can stop it. All you can do is make sure that you continue to provide value, increase your revenue, and put food on the table. That's all you can do. Don't wait for anybody to save you, because no one's going to save you. Nobody is going to save you. You were put here with the amazing ability to travel through life and be successful. Tap into it, right? That's the only way you earn this life that you were gifted. So I personally, again, like I will vote. I have to vote. People died for me to vote. Is who I vote for going to change anything that I do? No. I'm still going to be grinding. I'm still going to be learning. I'm still going to be growing. I'm still going to be applying. It's the same thing, right? You want to make sure that you're controlling what you control, because at the end of the day, even with democracy, you have all this other tomfoolery that could go on, and who knows? So just take care of you. Take care of you and yours. Trending news, more on the debate. Many statements, numbers, and claims were touted in last night's presidential debate, but many of the takeaways focused on the demeanor and coherence, or lack thereof, that both candidates displayed on stage. Decision making at the ballot box can be dependent on temperament and abilities, but also check out what each of the candidates said about specific areas of the economy. For investors looking to play the elections through market instruments, there are some politically driven Republican and Democrat ETFs. Note the shares of media and technology, Trump Media and Technology, DJT, are also up 7% pre-market to nearly $40. Now, earnings, the other foot, Nike shares tumbled 12.4% after hours to $82.52 on Thursday, after the sportswear giant cut its guidance, citing increased macro uncertainty, worsening forex effects, and softness in China. Nike's adjusted profit topped estimates, but revenue fell 2%, with Wall Street expecting a 1% gain. Quote, a comeback at this scale takes time, CFO Matthew Friend said during the earnings call. Executives also acknowledged the lack of innovation at Nike, which I've harped on a number of times here during this session, especially the most recent fiscal year, as competitors gained traction in the fitness and running categories. But management aims to double the growth of the product pipeline by the end of 2025. They need new ideas. And I think if they're smart, they'll leverage AI in order to get them right. Go through, do some analysis, some competitive analysis, figure out your brand strong points and create some hybrid with what is working for smaller brands, and then what is kind of innate to Nike's brand, and then come up with a new plan, right? Put that AI brain to work instead of all those human brains that seemingly aren't really coming up with anything new, right? There's a difference between normal AI and generative AI. Generative AI is like an artist. Use those artistic skills to create something new and something that can shift the paradigm for Nike. Evolve or die. That's where we're at. Outlook DEI backlash after facing weeks of backlash on social media. Tractor Supply, ticker TSCO, is pulling back policies that said were unpopular with its customers. The farm supply retail chain will eliminate all DEI roles and targets, withdraw carbon emission goals, and stop sponsoring non-business activities like pride festivals and voting campaigns. Instead, it will focus on ag education, animal welfare, and veteran causes, as well as land and water conservation efforts. Quote, we heard from customers that we have disappointed them, said Tractor Supply Co. said in a statement. We've taken this feedback to heart. Yeah. I mean, again, we're at this time where it's permeating throughout all of society, this death of globalism and the rise of protectionism. People are only caring about what relates to them because why? Like when you're in that fight or flight mode, that's what matters. If a nuke dropped right now, what are you doing? Calling my family, trying to make sure that they're okay, trying to locate them, getting them to a safe place, right? The proverbial nuke has already been dropped. Inflation has been crazy for a number of years, right? The supply chain has degraded down, and it's been like that for a number of years. We've got war and conflict; it's raging out. People are abandoning things like climate goals and supporting this and supporting that. It's like, hey, you're on your own. You're on your own. I'm on my own. Good luck. So, and that is continuously where things are going as we get more and more isolated, as well as we have technologies that are making it even easier to do that, right? Um, and I don't think this is something that's going to stop. I've had a lot of meetings, and it's crazy how with throughout a number of them in different sectors, there's this like kind of just theme of DEI getting just pushed to the side, pushed to the back, right? And I'm not here to say whether that's good or bad. I'm just saying that it's happening, right? Arguing the merits of something, yeah, that you can do that ideologically, but at the end of the day, if something is happening, I'm worried about that thing, right? It's like in the Bible with the flood and Noah, right? If I know a flood is coming, um, whether or not the earth should be flooding, the mechanics of it, all that, irrelevant to me, right? Completely irrelevant to me. This is happening, right? Same thing with AI. Should AI be a thing? Should it be used everywhere? Should it doesn't matter because it's happening, right? Just if you've watched Oppenheimer, you know stuff like this is inevitable. Once humans set their sights on something and you can't trust the person that's one hemisphere over, right? It's every person for themselves and they throw everything out of the window. So I'm not here because at the end of the day, I can't be that person that's like, keep all your DEI roles. But if you are in a DEI role and you recognize that what you do is in jeopardy, right? I want to be there to help empower you in order to learn how to do something else, and that's the only thing that you can control. But there's widespread DEI backlash. This is not the beginning of it. It's been happening for the past year and a half, and it's only ramping up. Right, it's only ramping up. So just make sure you can provide value from a number of different standpoints. Don't see your area of expertise in jeopardy, and then yeah, you can fight for it, but fight for it while you know that something else can pay the bills too, right? Because nobody's going to come along and say, "Oh man, your sector got disrupted. Here's a reparations check for that." It's not going to happen. In today's markets, mostly green here in Asia, Japan up 0.6%, Hong Kong flat, China up 0.7, India down 0.3, the footy in London up 0.6. Let's see if all this is still even relevant. Let's see. So we got data at when 8:30. Yeah, it looks like market didn't like the data, right? The PCE data that came out. So we pulled back a little bit. We were up significantly on SPY, not as much here, as we head into open. So the S&P was up like zero point 0.4. Now it's probably up 0.1. NASDAQ was up 0.5. Now it's probably, just slightly green. Crude oil up 0.8%, gold up 0.4, Bitcoin up 0.7%. Consumer sentiment data, we get that at 10 a.m., right? 10 a.m. That will be important. Keep an eye out for that. We might see some volatility around 10 a.m. Consumer sentiment, tends to move things. Now, what else is happening? Nokia, ticker NOK NOK, to acquire Infinera for $2.3 billion to boost optical position. Chewy, Petco, right, whose ticker is Wolf. Wolf jumps as Roaring Kitty sets off meme army. I actually saw it. I follow him on Twitter and had the notifications on, and he just put up a picture of a dog, and Chewy and Petco took off. Chewy, something I talked about at the beginning of the week, right? Once again, you're seeing this happen in real time, right? Chewy had the technical setup, Chewy took off, and then you have this random news that comes out and it also causes it to continue to push, right? Do I know how all the dynamics play and if Chewy was even involved in it? No, right? But again, luck, preparation plus opportunity. We're getting consistently lucky here to the point where it's fishy. That's because it's part of a system. Walgreens ticker WBA sinks to multi-year low on sweeping store closures. Opioid crisis, Purdue Pharma settlement upended by Supreme Court. Meta may block news content on Facebook in Australia. NFL ordered to pay 4.7 billion after losing Sunday ticket antitrust trial. France is facing an election like no other. Here's how it works. Amazon Kuiper satellite production is delayed to Q4. Uber Lyft to boost wages as part of $175 million settlement. Then India set for billions is in inflows as sovereign bonds debut on key index. All right. Happy Friday, everybody. We've had a great week thus far. Let's continue to push it, continue to work, continue to close. For my Kaizen people, today is the last day for you to access that 50% off lifetime for AIM. Let's continue that application. Again, information is nothing without application. Kaizen was amazing. We got tons of info that you could take and apply. But some people were like, all right, what are the specific ways that I can apply this within this sector, this sector, this sector? What does that automated workflow look like? Right? When I use these tools, what type of prompt are you putting into these tools specifically in order for it to serve this function? That ongoing support, right, that upholds the application of the immense amounts of information you got from Kaizen comes through AIM. You can do it for the price of a fast food meal per month. Let's get after it, right? My big thing is providing a crap ton of value at a point that is a price point that is drastically undervalued compared to the value that is provided, right? Just to make it pretty much just accessible to everyone and to make it pretty much so appealing that you can't not get better. That's my goal that I always want to do, whether it's with the free live streams or the trading group that is, amazing in terms of R&R, and then, AIM and with Kaizen. That's my goal is that, this is something where if you're here and you're investing the time and you're applying what's taught, you can get access to so much more for so much less. And I'm going to continue doing that because that's what it's about, baby. Anyways, everybody have a great Friday. Let's get after it, make it an amazing weekend as well. No pre-market preps next week at the beach all week. I will be trading. I'll be active in the group, as active as you can be on a holiday week. And yeah, we'll talk soon. Have a great holiday, everybody. Happy early 4th. Peace.